Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off this presentation on techniques to recall faster and retain longer. Today, we'll explore key strategies like managing your cognitive load, controlling distractions, and understanding neural mechanisms that link focus to memory formation. We'll also look into the foundations of attention and focus to help you optimize your learning and retention. So, let's dive in and discover how to boost your memory and focus effectively. Let's delve into how effective encoding plays a crucial role in memory. When we talk about encoding, we're referring to the process that ensures information is stored in our brain for the long term. This is key because without proper encoding, even if we perceive or think about something, it might not be stored well enough to recall later. So, effective encoding is what makes memories durable and accessible when we need them. Throughout this presentation, you'll see how attention and processing work together to support this process, ultimately helping us understand how we remember and learn. Let's explore the fascinating neural bridge between attention and storage. Have you ever wondered how focusing on something helps us remember it better? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into. When we pay close attention, our brain essentially prioritizes certain information, making it more likely to be stored in long-term memory. Attention acts like a spotlight, highlighting specific details and facilitating their transfer into storage. This process is crucial because without focused attention, information can be easily lost or forgotten. So, understanding how focus influences memory helps us grasp the fundamental connection between what we pay attention to and what we ultimately remember. This link is a key piece of the larger puzzle of how our brain manages information and learning. Let's take a closer look at how our brain encodes and consolidates new data. When we learn something new, the hippocampus plays a crucial role. It's responsible for prioritizing high-value information, meaning it helps us focus on what's most important to remember. Next, we have emotional valving, managed by the amygdala. This part of the brain helps assign emotional significance to experiences, which in turn influences how resources are allocated and how we set our goals. Then there's the attention control center, the prefrontal cortex. It acts as a sort of executive director, directing our focus and managing how attention is distributed across different stimuli. All these processes, encoding, prioritizing, emotional valuing, and attention, are foundational to how our memory is impacted. They serve as the core functions that enable effective learning and memory formation. And at the heart of all this is the attention system itself, which has a physiological basis in these specific brain regions. Understanding this interconnected network helps us appreciate how focused attention underpins our ability to learn and remember. All right, let's take a closer look at the different components of working memory. First, we have the visuospatial sketchpad, which is responsible for visual information. Think about when you're trying to visualize a layout or remember a picture. Then there's the phonological loop, which handles auditory information, like when you're repeating a phone number to yourself. Next up is the central executive, which acts as the control center. It manages and directs attention, deciding what to focus on and how to allocate resources among these systems. Now, an important concept to remember is that our working memory has a limited capacity. The classic estimate is around 7 plus or minus 2 items, so generally, we can hold about 5 to 9 pieces of information at once. This capacity limit is crucial because it influences how much information we can actively process and manipulate at any given moment. Understanding these components helps us see why multitasking can be so challenging and why memory strategies are vital for effective learning and problem solving. All right, let's dive into this slide. Successful recall really plays a crucial role in strengthening our future concentration. When we successfully remember information, it boosts our ability to focus next time. Now, retrieval is the process where we access stored information, and this is where it gets integrated into our long-term storage. Think of it as embedding that knowledge more deeply into our memory. Next, we have the idea of consolidation. When we concentrate intently, it kicks off the encoding process. That's the step where our brain actively converts what we're learning into a form that can be stored long-term. And at the core of this is the focus, the attention memory's feedback loop. Essentially, our focus enhances memory, and strong memories, in turn, sharpen our focus. It's a continuous cycle that reinforces learning and retention. So, in the context of this presentation, understanding how focused attention fuels this loop helps us see why concentration isn't just about being attentive in the moment. It's about building a foundation for lasting learning. So, one of the most surprising things is that simply having a phone in sight can cause a 13% capacity loss. That's a significant drop in how much we can focus or process at any given moment. It really highlights how even the mere presence of a device can be a distraction. This leads to what we call brain drain. When our attention is pulled away, our brain needs time to recover and get back to full focus. On average, it takes about 23 minutes to regain that deep level of concentration after being interrupted by an alert or a distraction. Now, this fragmented attention isn't just a minor inconvenience. It actually prevents us from achieving deep focus, which is essential for high-quality work. When our attention is divided, our efficiency drops by roughly 40%. That's almost half of our potential productivity lost just because of digital distractions. And these impacts aren't trivial. They accumulate and significantly affect our overall performance. The key takeaway here is that digital distractions have a measurable, quantifiable impact on our work and productivity. Recognizing this helps us understand why managing our attention and digital habits is so crucial in today's environment. Now, let's talk about how the physical environment can significantly impact focus and productivity. First, the color scheme plays a crucial role. Using calming blue or green tones can help create a soothing atmosphere, reducing stress and promoting concentration. Next, organization is key. Keeping the space clutter-free helps minimize distractions and makes it easier to stay on task. Noise control is also important. Implementing white noise can mask disruptive sounds and maintain a calm environment. As for lighting, natural light or warm LED lighting can boost mood and alertness, making the space more inviting and conducive to work. Overall, designing and optimizing the physical environment with these elements in mind creates a space that supports focus, reduces stress, and enhances overall well-being. Let's take a look at two popular productivity techniques: Pomodoro, which is typically 25 minutes of work followed by a 5-minute break, and deep work, which involves longer, focused sessions of 90 to 120 minutes. Both methods aim to boost our focus, but they do so in different ways. Pomodoro is great for maintaining steady momentum and preventing burnout by breaking tasks into manageable chunks. It's especially useful when you're dealing with tasks that might seem overwhelming or when you need frequent mental resets. On the other hand, deep work emphasizes longer, uninterrupted periods of concentration, allowing you to dive deep into complex problems and produce high-quality work. These extended blocks are ideal for tasks that require significant cognitive effort and creativity. Now, connecting this to the overall theme of time management, both techniques highlight the importance of intentional scheduling. That's where time blocking comes in. By allocating specific chunks of your day for different activities, you're essentially customizing your work rhythm to match your natural focus patterns. Whether you prefer the quick, disciplined bursts of Pomodoro or the sustained focus of deep work, the key is to structure your day intentionally. This way, you optimize your productivity and make the most of your mental energy. Neuroplasticity, as many of you know, refers to the brain's remarkable ability to change and adapt over time. In this context, it specifically increases gray matter density in key areas like the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus. These regions are crucial for functions like decision-making, attention, and memory. What's exciting is that through practices like mindfulness, we can actively promote this growth. For example, in just 8 weeks of MBSR training, or mindfulness-based stress reduction, participants have shown a 15% boost in attentional performance. That's a significant improvement that can really enhance daily focus and mental clarity. This slide ties directly into our overall theme of how neuroscience backs up the benefits of mindfulness, not just psychologically but physically, by fostering brain changes that support better cognitive function. It's a powerful reminder that consistent practice can lead to lasting positive changes in our brains. All right, let's talk about the non-judgmental return. Sometimes our minds wander during meditation or relaxation exercises, and that's completely normal. The key is to gently bring your focus back without judgment or frustration. Just acknowledge that your attention drifted and kindly guide it back to your chosen focal point. Now, the stable focal point is crucial here. Using your breath as an anchor is one of the most effective ways to keep your attention steady. When your mind starts to wander, gently return your awareness to your breath, feeling the inhale and exhale. This creates a reliable point of stability. Speaking of breath, let's look at the 4-7-8 method. It's a simple yet powerful technique for calming the nervous system. You inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold that breath for 7 seconds, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. This pattern helps regulate your breathing, relaxes your body, and clears your mind. Breath anchoring, in particular, is a fantastic technique because it links your focus directly to a natural, rhythmic process, your breathing. When you practice this regularly, it enhances your ability to stay present and centered, even amidst distractions. So, by combining these approaches, gentle redirection, using the breath as a focal point, and the 4-7-8 method, you build a strong foundation for mindfulness and stress reduction. These tools support the overall theme of cultivating calm and awareness in everyday life. Restores clarity and calm. When we practice these techniques, it helps bring our mind back to a more centered state. Redirect focus to a realistic belief instead of getting caught up in exaggerated or distorted thoughts. Choosing to do this intentionally is key, as it prevents cognitive hooking, that trap where our thoughts pull us into intense emotional reactions. A helpful way to manage this is to observe thoughts like clouds passing in the sky. Just watch them go by without trying to hold on or push them away. This distancing reduces the emotional intensity attached to those thoughts. Label the thought, for example, catastrophizing, to identify what's really going on. Numbing the thought helps create a bit of mental space, making it easier to decide what action to take next. This process is part of thought detachment skills, empowering us to step back and see our thoughts more objectively. Overall, these techniques help us regain control, stay calm, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Let's take a closer look at how our brain manages information during learning. First, we have germane load, which is all about schema construction. This is the mental process of building and strengthening the frameworks we use to understand new information. When we're effectively creating schemas, we're making learning more efficient. On the other hand, extraneous load refers to the unnecessary mental effort caused by poor design or distracting noise in the learning environment. This is something we want to minimize because it can overload our cognitive capacity and hinder understanding. Then there's intrinsic load, which is the inherent complexity of the material itself. Some topics are naturally more complicated, and that's something we have to accept and work with. All of these factors contribute to the overall mental burden during learning. The goal of cognitive load theory is to help us manage this burden, ensuring that our cognitive resources are used efficiently. By reducing extraneous load and optimizing intrinsic load, we can enhance schema construction and, ultimately, facilitate better learning outcomes. This theory ties directly into our overarching theme, understanding how to create effective learning environments that align with how our minds process information. Let's talk about optimizing our mental resources for learning, and specifically, the concept of 3D load management. This idea is all about understanding the different types of mental load we carry and how to manage them effectively. By being aware of these loads, cognitive, emotional, and physical, we can better allocate our mental resources where they're needed most. For example, reducing unnecessary cognitive load, like distractions or multitasking, helps us focus more deeply on the task at hand. Similarly, managing emotional load, such as stress or anxiety, can free up mental space for learning and problem-solving. And paying attention to our physical state, like rest, nutrition, and exercise, also plays a crucial role in maintaining optimal mental capacity. Ultimately, by practicing 3D load management, we're better equipped to learn efficiently, retain information, and perform at our best. It's about balancing these loads so none become overwhelming, which aligns perfectly with the overall goal of maximizing our mental resources. Let's take a closer look at the step-by-step processing strategy, which is at the heart of improving our learning and understanding. It all starts with understand, really grasping the core idea or concept before moving forward. Once we understand, the next step is to visualize, creating mental images or diagrams that help us see the information more clearly and make connections. Visualization turns abstract ideas into something more concrete and memorable. Finally, we have memorize, which is about reinforcing the information so it sticks with us over time. By following these 3 steps, understand, visualize, memorize, we create a solid foundation for effective learning. This approach ties back to our overall theme of developing smart, efficient strategies to master new material and retain it longer. Let's talk about how we can use digital boundaries to prevent chronic cognitive overload. One effective way is by setting social limits. For example, scheduling specific times to process our inbox communication helps create clear boundaries around when we handle emails. This prevents us from constantly being pulled into new messages and helps manage our mental resources better. Another useful strategy is establishing designated email windows. By having specific periods during the day to check and respond to emails, we reduce the constant distraction and keep our focus intact. This all ties into managing our cognitive load. When we control input, such as notifications and interruptions, we can maintain focus more easily. Think of it as an information filtering system that helps us prioritize what truly matters, so we're not overwhelmed by unnecessary data. Ultimately, by using these digital boundaries thoughtfully, we protect our mental space, reduce distractions, and stay more focused on the tasks that really count. Let's talk about hippocampal replay. This is a fascinating process where the hippocampus, the brain's memory hub, reactivates neural patterns associated with new experiences. Essentially, it's like the brain is replaying a recording to transfer that information into long-term storage. Research shows that this replay can happen for more than 7 hours after learning, and during this time, it significantly boosts memory retention by about 30%. That means the longer your brain processes and replays this information during sleep, the better you'll remember it later. Now, a key player in this process is slow-wave sleep, which is the deepest stage of non-REM sleep. During slow-wave sleep, the brain replays neural circuits involved in recent learning. It's as if your brain is rehearsing and consolidating information in the background while you're unconscious. This leads us to an important concept. Sleep acts as the background processing phase of memory. While you're sleeping, your brain isn't just resting. It's actively working behind the scenes to strengthen and organize your memories. So, in the broader context of memory consolidation, sleep plays a crucial role. It's not just about rest, it's about transforming fleeting experiences into lasting memories. This highlights why a good night's sleep is essential for learning and memory retention. Let's talk about nutrition and timing for peak performance, specifically focusing on brain fuel management. This is such a crucial aspect because our brain is highly dependent on the right nutrients at the right times to perform at its best. What we eat, and when we eat it, can significantly influence our focus, decision-making, and overall mental clarity. For example, consuming balanced meals with complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and proteins helps sustain energy levels and keeps our brain fueled throughout the day. Timing is key. Eating some carbs before intense mental tasks can give you that extra boost, while avoiding heavy, processed foods close to important activities helps prevent sluggishness. The goal here is to optimize your nutrition to support cognitive function, which in turn enhances your overall performance. Remember, managing your brain fuel isn't just about what you eat, but also about when you eat it, to ensure peak mental effectiveness when you need it most. Let's talk about some simple recovery activities that can make a big difference in maintaining focus and productivity. First, there's light stretching. Just a few gentle stretches can help promote blood flow to the brain, which keeps us alert and energized. It's a quick way to refresh your mind during a busy day. Next, there's visual rest. Every now and then, it's helpful to look about 6 meters away. This small change relaxes your eye muscles, reducing eye strain, especially if you're working long hours in front of a screen. And don't forget micro breaks. Taking about 5 minutes for deep breathing every 90 minutes can really help reset your mental state. These short breaks support overall recovery, keeping you sharp and focused throughout the day. Incorporating these simple recovery activities aligns perfectly with our goal of maintaining sustained productivity and well-being during work. Now, let's take a closer look at the tools we use to monitor and improve our focus. First up, we have the recovery log. This is where we track how effective our efforts are in restoring focus after interruptions or distractions. By keeping a record, we can see what's working and where we might need to adjust our strategies. Next is the distraction log. This helps us identify recurring interruptions that pull us away from our tasks. Recognizing these patterns allows us to address the root causes and minimize disruptions over time. Then we have the focus rating system. This is where we score each session on a scale from 1 to 10, reflecting how well we maintained focus during that period. It's a simple yet powerful way to quantify our progress and see trends over days or weeks. All these tools form part of our daily focus tracking system, which is essential for creating awareness and accountability. By consistently recording and analyzing this information, we can make informed decisions to enhance our concentration. Remember, the goal here is not just to track, but to actively improve our ability to stay focused, aligning perfectly with our overall theme of developing sustainable focus habits. All right, let's break down the 30-day roadmap and how this progressive focus challenge works. In the first week, days 1 to 7, the goal is to start small with just 15-minute focus blocks. This helps us build a habit and get comfortable with focused work without feeling overwhelmed. Then, moving into days 8 to 14, we increase that duration to 30 minutes, focusing on endurance building. This stage is about extending our attention span and maintaining focus for longer periods. Finally, from days 15 to 30, we ramp up to 45 to 60 minutes of deep work mastery. This is where we really aim to develop sustained concentration and high-quality output. The overall idea is to gradually challenge ourselves, progressively increasing focus over the month. This approach ensures steady growth without burnout, and it ties into the broader theme of deliberate, manageable improvement. So, by following this roadmap, we're not just working harder but smarter, building focus step by step for lasting results. All right, let's look at some practical applications of the concepts we've discussed. First, online or digital detox rules. These are about taking intentional breaks from screens and digital devices to reduce stress and increase mindfulness. It's important to set boundaries, like designated tech-free times or zones, to help reset our mental state. Next, groups and active listening. Engaging with others in a focused, attentive way enhances connection and understanding. Active listening isn't just hearing words. It's about being fully present, showing empathy, and clarifying to ensure we're truly understanding each other. This skill is vital for building trust and reducing miscommunication. Then, exams and the 4-7-8 breathing technique. During stressful test situations, this breathing method can help calm nerves. Inhale quietly through your nose for 4 seconds, hold that breath for 7 seconds, then exhale completely through your mouth for 8 seconds. Repeating this cycle a few times can significantly reduce anxiety and improve focus. Now, considering the overall context, these tools are all about managing our mental and emotional state in various situations. Whether we're disconnecting digitally, engaging in meaningful conversations, or handling stressful moments like exams, applying these focus techniques helps us stay centered. Finally, situational focus applications are about recognizing the specific context we're in and choosing the right strategy. For example, during a stressful exam, the 4-7-8 breathing can be immediately helpful. In daily life, setting digital detox rules or practicing active listening can improve our overall well-being and relationships. The key is to be mindful of the situation and adapt these tools for maximum benefit. So, as we wrap up, I want to emphasize the importance of establishing sustainable routines for long-term success. Building habits is really about creating consistent actions that support your focus and productivity over time. For example, developing habits that help you build stamina against digital interruptions can make a huge difference. This resilience helps you stay on track even when distractions pop up. Next, cultivating a mindful state is key to monitoring your attention. When you're aware of where your focus is, you can gently redirect it without judgment. This awareness is what allows you to maintain control over your attention, rather than letting it drift aimlessly. And of course, mastery comes through practice. The more you intentionally practice these routines, whether it's resisting interruptions or staying mindful, the more natural it becomes. Ultimately, these elements, habits, resilience, awareness, are interconnected, supporting a sustainable approach to managing attention. When integrated into your daily life, they create a solid foundation for ongoing success and growth.